Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Film School. Happy Sunday. Thanks for joining me on this lovely afternoon in autumn. I feel like today is the first day that it's actually kind of chilly. It's not 80 degrees. It's a proper fall day. So if you are joining me, let me know where you are joining me from. Today we're going to go over some resumes. We have the live resume review. I had a few brave souls submit their resume to be critiqued live. I only looked at them to redact information. I didn't go into like what I'm gonna say or how I'm gonna critique them, but I have a lot of first impressions for these resumes. So let me know in your chat if you are joining me. And for all of those folks who submitted, it will be up for the replay if you missed it or you're joining us later or whatever. So fear not, and maybe you can't say, and I didn't get to your resume yet, but just know that it will be up after. I will not take this down, so you can definitely check your feedback on your resume. I want to make sure I can look at the chat. There we go. Hello. Obi-Wan is with me. Ruben, hello again. Thank you for joining me again. I love that you guys keep coming back to my live streams. So why do I do the live stream resume review, film resume review? One is because film resumes are different. They're different than your 9-to-5 corporate job or your real world, like, your office jobs or whatever. And I hate saying regular jobs. And I think I say regular job because my job in film, I love it. And it's like my dream job, right? And I feel like the industry is just wildly different than what you would normally put together in the corporate world. And trying to submit to like LinkedIn or like Indeed and all those websites where you would submit your resume, you have to put certain things and a lot of descriptive words, and so like the AI algorithm can like catch certain things on your resume. But with resumes in film, you are most likely submitting your resume to a person. So that is the number one thing, is that a person is going to be reading it and not just a computer grabbing it and then a person. So I really like to magnify what is going to get your resume seen, but also your skills and your experiences and all that stuff is going to pop out. And also, I do this because, like, everyone just doesn't, I feel like sometimes with resumes, we're, like, flying blind, guys. Like, I remember when I first did my resume and trying to get into the film industry, I was a hot mess. I should always share one of my old ones, because the resume I have now is wildly different than the one I had back in the day, just getting out of college. And I was just kind of shooting in the dark. I had no idea what to do with my resume as far as like how to format it, what they're looking for, what things to highlight, all that stuff. So hello, we have Nicolay. Happy to have you guys. So I am going to jump into the first resume, and it's either Lucia or Lucia. I'm pretty sure it's Lucia because that sounds prettier. So we're going to jump into this resume. Now, I have a lot of thoughts about this resume, and I want to tell you guys that whatever first impression, hi Curiel, whatever first impression you have of this resume, put it in the chat for me, because that person is going to see that feedback. Like, what do you feel when you see this? Everyone's first impression is going to be the first impression that that person hiring is going to have. And I think a lot of people take that for granted, like a regular person. And I mean, a regular person, just be any person, because they're not someone who might be hiring, but it's still going to be that human nature factor when you look at resumes. So I just want everyone to kind of help me out and help the person who is getting their feedback, getting their resume feedback, like let them know, like, hey, this is the impression I get off of it. Now, the trick with this resume that I don't like, and I know everyone tries to get by, and they try to do these little tricks because like they think that the person who is hiring or seeing this resume is not going to notice the trickery that you're trying to do. And the trickery that this person has is they are longer than an 8x10 like letter form type format. Like, if you're going to a legal size document and you're not letter sized, then we know that you're trying to smush all the information in there. If you can't get the information on one page of a letter format, like that 8x11, then you should not be like, you should be cutting a lot of stuff. So this is definitely like, and you'll notice like on my screen, there's a big black gap between me and the resume, is because it's too long. So I know it's way too long. So I know that this is way longer than a letter format. So don't do this. Now, the other thing I want you guys to realize is the font size. Some people try to go smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm sorry, who do you think is reading your resume? A regular person is reading your resume, and make sure you keep font size in mind. Like, you shouldn't be going past 9-point font. Like, point blank period, not past, or smaller, I should say smaller than 9-point font. And you should not be going past letter size format and one page only. Now, thankfully, this person did not do more than one page. We're going to get to another one that definitely does have more than one page, which I'm just like, no. And luckily, he's not going to be on this live stream because he's on set right now, but you know, that he's going to see it on the replay and he's going to be like, oh God, what did I do? But in this resume, the first thing I noticed is that it's longer, very, very small font, and it's way too much information. It is very, very overwhelming. I just want to go to the checks. Some of you guys put some kind of first impressions. I love it here at Al's eating. You get your, oh wait, it's breakfast, right? So it's like, I feel like, Ruben, you're in California for some reason. I associated that with California. I'm not sure. So Nicolay, you're saying like, why the hell is there an image? Now, this image is pretty big, but also it's not that it's distracting, but it will make her resume stand out. So I will not dock her any points for putting an image. And I kind of like how there's a regular image of her and there's almost an artistic image to it on the side. Now, the only drawback to that is the image that she's putting up there is almost taking up so much space. So she's got it longer than she's got a legal size document almost. It's like in between legal and letter sized, right? And this image is taking up so much space. And I think since she has a lot of information that she's got to convey on this page, she is sacrificing that space just to put that artistic image on it. Now, I haven't even gotten to like what she's trying to achieve, what goal she's going after, because at first glance, those things don't pop out to me. So I have to actually go in deep and like look to see what she's going after, right? And luckily, I just like look over underneath her name. Her name is nice and big. That's great. But then underneath really, really small is producer and screenwriter. Now that tells me, okay, she does have some type of creative element and she is creative. So I would keep the image, probably not as huge. So I would cut down the image. It's just way too big. It's taking up way too much space. And it's causing you to kind of go past that regular size document that you should have, like letter sized. It's so funny, like, why the hell is there an image? I see nothing but the image. Yeah, so the image is definitely drawing a person in, but it's actually taking away. And I want her to keep the image. I just want it a little bit smaller. Maybe like make it a square so you can move some stuff around where you can actually get that back to letter sized. What's up with the picture? The image is distracting. So a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the image on your resume, Lucia. Let's see, from India. Yes, thank you for joining me from India. Yes, okay, good. So, Ruben, I remember you're from LA. That's, I don't know. I just remember random things. It wouldn't be too bad if it was the header of a website, but not so much on a resume, especially with the way it's formatted. Exactly. So, I think we all had the first impression, like kind of, we're all in the same realm here where I love the image, but it's too much and it's too big and it's taking away a little bit. Some people would stop and they would read your resume. Some people would be like, what the hell? And then move on. So it could go either way. I'm going to take notes from this live for my resume. And this is the point of this live. Like take this, all the feedback that you're seeing on other people's resumes. Like you may not have, been able to submit or wanted to put yourself out there for this crazy critique, but you can definitely take notes from whatever we are like discussing for sure to apply to your own resume. And it also might give you ideas because sometimes you can't even look at other people's resume for, you may not see another person's resume for years and years and you've been making a resume and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you're seeing what other people are doing, it kind of will draw some ideas in your mind to be creative with your own resume. Oh, great. Currently working on a feature. First of all, congrats for working because I can't wait to get back to work. I don't have a career image needed unless it's, yeah. So DP actor position. Okay, so Maria, I get that. I definitely understand, like, you need a headshot. Just to kind of like touch on actor resumes. So an actor resume is a little bit different because, sorry, I'm like coming away from my mic a little bit, but an actor resume is a little bit different because on one side of the resume would be, now this is hard copy, one side would be your resume, other side would actually be your headshot. Now, if it is digitally, you really like put like a square box of like your headshot at least. But that actually would be a bigger image because you maybe want a whole body shot, maybe like waist up type shot for an actor resume. So that's just like real quick on an actor resume. It is definitely formatted way differently as well. Okay, so I have to like zoom in here because it's like this writing is so damn small. Okay, so going down the line, we've gotten past the image. Her name is nice and big. I do like that. Now, the information is kind of small. Like you can tell, like I redacted like her phone number, her email, and that's super small. And I think if there's anything you want to be a little bit bigger, if you're trying to sacrifice space and if everything's going to be small, your information should be at least be like, something of a bigger size, especially if your headline is producer and screenwriter. That's not really jumping off the page like it should be, right? Also, gosh, I'm just going to go down the line. So the category headers like education, skills, work, and then awards, those category headers are usually 2 to 3 points bigger in font than all the other stuff that is going to come after it. And it's not breaking up your resume the way it should. I do like how your resume is in 2 columns because it is breaking up some of the information, because you have education on one side and you have skills on that one side, but then you have your work and then awards on the other side. I like how that information is divided up. I am a fan of like columns in a resume. I don't know why, but for me, it appeals to my eyeballs. And if your resume is pretty, that is like a point in your corner. That is something that is going to be good for you. You want to make sure your resume is pretty. So if you're taking notes, folks, make sure your resume is pretty. Okay, so education, and let's see, she's got a lot, and I think funding for film workshop, postgraduate degree, like there's a lot of stuff happening here, and you can tell that she has a lot of education, but I think at one point, I might take out, I don't know, there's so much there. I'm thinking like what she would be able to take out, because she's got to cut this resume down. There's way too much information. I think that if you're really going for producer, screenwriter, okay, so definitely business administration. I would keep that because you're producing, right? Creative production, cultural entrepreneurship workshop. There's got to be a way to like 2014. I mean, you're talking like 2012, 2014. Like there are character development workshop. I would probably take that one out. Character development workshop. I would take that out. And I know it's more recent, but I feel like it doesn't really apply unless you're really going hard for like screenwriting stuff, because character development actually does apply to screenwriting. Also, I will note that if you are trying to put producer stuff and screenwriting stuff on one resume, that's not the way to go. Like, for example, like if I wanted to get into set dressing and I had a couple set dressing, it's like my dream. Like in another world, I swear I was a set dresser or something and working in production design. But like me being an AD, on my resume, I don't have my AD stuff and set dressing stuff, right? If I wanted to go that route. Like if I wanted to be a set dresser, I would definitely not put my AD stuff on that resume, So it's like you have to make separate resumes, one for producing, one for screenwriting. Unless you're going for like showrunner type stuff, which I can understand where they can intertwine, but you have so much stuff on this resume that you have to break it down some way. Okay, so platforms, okay, final draft, like soft skills. Skills. I think that you don't need languages, platform, and then soft skills. I do like how it's broken up, but you don't really have to kind of waste those 3 lines. Like you can divide it up, but you don't have to waste those 3 lines, because like I understand like Spanish and English, native and native. Like I understand you're telling me that you know how to speak other languages, which is great, right? You want to keep that as a nice hard skill, and your platforms are hard skills, which is great. But then, let's see, your soft skills, script coordination, that is not a soft skill. Project management, resource optimization, that is not a soft skill. Budgeting, invoice, these are not soft skills. Those are all scheduling, transportation management. See, these are all very specific to certain jobs. So divergent thinking, creative problem solving, that is soft skills. Sorry if I feel like I'm getting closer to my mic because I'm like trying to like look at this resume. That's like really, really hard because it's so small. So with some of your soft skills, and I just want to point out to everybody, a soft skill versus a hard skill. Hard skills are very focused. So if I'm saying like, okay, script coordination, that is a very tailored to a certain job, right? That is like film industry specific. That is just going to be for script coordinators and stuff like that. That is a hard skill. That is very, very tailored and specific to a certain job or a number of jobs. Now, soft skills are universal. They can be used in any job, like communication, leadership, problem solving, stuff like that, time management. Those are soft skills, they can be used in any job. And I think a lot of people get those mixed up. So you can't say soft skills and then right underneath it say script coordination, because now I know you don't even know what those things are. So I don't want to present to you like, okay, you are not educated enough in that realm to be like, skills and skills, hard skills versus soft skills, but you have to make sure that whatever you're putting on your resume, you actually know what the hell you're talking about. And I feel like I'm kind of insulting Lucia a little bit, but it's like, you just don't want to make that mistake because other people are going to think you're dumb, and I don't want people to think you're dumb, right? So people will tear you apart for stuff like that, and I don't like that. So just make sure that whatever hard skills or soft skills, if you are going to divide them up like that, make sure you know what's what. Okay, so research writing and content editing, like those are, like research, I guess it would be a universal thing, but you wouldn't use research on every job. So just make sure you're going back and you're checking yourself as far as like what's a hard skill and what's a soft skill. And a lot of people get that mixed up. So this can definitely be cut down or try to bullet some things. There's no bullets on here. Like I don't mind that there's no bullet points. Oh yeah, there's 2 bullets underneath awards, which I feel like isn't really needed. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so going on to the next column where she starts to go to her experience. Thank you for all your thoughts, guys. I really appreciate you guys giving your thoughts on this. This is great. This just makes it better for everyone. Okay, so the one thing that she is doing, she is bolding the company she worked for, and that is a big no-no. I need you to bold the position that you're in. That comes first. I don't care if you worked for Sonoro Media or whatever movie company, production company you worked for, or whatever thing you wrote for. I need to know the position you're in, because ultimately you are gunning for another position, and your past positions will make you, make your case to that new position, right? So your position has to be bolded and first. So make sure you are, I feel like I'm really tearing her apart. I'm like, okay. So make sure you are highlighting and bolding your position first. The dates, I feel like you can just take those out. You did a lot in 2022 looking at all of that. Like you don't even have to, I'm going to move this a little bit because I can just go so I don't have to blind myself, so I can actually see, and you guys can actually see as well. Okay, so staff writer, this is great. APOC, production coordinator, production assistant. There's a lot of different things here, and you need to kind of, so you have to have 2 different resumes, I feel like. APOC, production coordinator, that's like producer realm resume. You got to put those there. That's not going to help you if someone wants to hire you as a writer. So you definitely have to make 2 resumes. I'm sorry, resumes are not easy, guys. So just make sure you are putting the hard work into your resume. It's going to take time to get a good one. And if you think you're just going to whip up a resume in like half an hour, it's not going to work. Like I work on my resume all the time. Every time I have a new job, every time I have a new gig, I update it. And then if I get sick of looking at it and I'm like, maybe this is kind of boring, how can I make this better? So another thing is there's a lot of things that are okay, so she's adding the people that were the writer on that project, which is good, but I don't think you need to put the episode 707, 04, 05. If you just put the writers, I think in one line, because that's what I do in my resume, and this is highly recommended. So if you have experience, you want to make sure that you are, so for example, me being a DGA second AD, right? I will list my key second, my first, my UPM, right? But now if I am doing a first AD gig, if I'm I did a stunt unit on Equalizer and I was a first AD, and I listed my director, the UPM, and the line producer, and I kind of you just go up. I go up 3 positions. And she did that, and that's good. She added her other scriptwriters. That's what you want to do. But there's got to be a better way to organize this and take this down, not to use up 3 lines. So the main thing for you is to make sure that you are not using up too much space for each gig. And this is kind of where people get caught up, is they were like, I have to add every single thing. As soon as you divide up your resume, Lucia, I think that you are definitely going to have a way better resume that's it's not overwhelming, it's breathable, it's lovely, it's going to be nicely organized and stuff with not so much information on it. So production coordinator, production assistant, let's see, field producer, scriptwriter, story producer, transport coordinator, a lot of these APOC, I just feel like I'm going to give you the same information and say you have to divide this up. Okay. And awards. Planned Parenthood Global received $20,000 to develop the first sex education mobile. First of all, that's awesome. So I feel like you should keep that as far as your like producer resume. And call for new writers. I don't mind that section. I feel like that section is very, very valuable to you as a producer. So I want to make sure you keep those sections of like these awards, especially if you're trying to grow into that producer position. It will definitely speak in your favor. I was selected to make a short film in the second edition of the Women. I don't know if you need that sentence, though. I don't know why. I feel like you don't need that. It's almost like a waste, because here's the thing that I want everyone to remember. You want to add things to your resume that get people interested, right? You don't want to lay it all on the table, because then it's like, well, they know everything about you, but all you've done is overwhelm them. You've not really interested them. The point of your resume is to get people interested and to paint a picture of yourself, to put your personality on the page for them to ask you to interview. And then when you're in the interview, you can say, oh, during this laboratory, I was selected to make a short film. Do you know what I mean? So you have to have those nice little talking points in the interview that they can ask you about. And they might mark things on your resume. They're like, oh, I'm going to ask them about this, this, and this. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Like, you want to make sure you've painted a lovely picture of you with this one-page resume so they can get interested and then ask you to interview, and then they can ask you the questions they want to know more about. So references. We're going to get to references because there are some people who like to debate me about references, and I don't want to see them on a resume. I don't want to see references on a resume. If I want references, I will ask you for them, or I might know someone on your resume already. Usually in the film industry, we all know each other. It's pretty small. So if I realize something on your resume, then great. I will contact that person. And then whether you like it or not, they're going to talk to that person, whether it's a good recommendation or not or whatever. But if you work with them, they're going to call whoever they want. So it's okay that she put available upon request. That's okay, but she is wasting 2 lines. I feel like it's a given, right? But also references, usually, like, if I ask you for a reference, I'm going to, like, in the regular world, yes, it works, right? You put references on your application, they call those references, and then they tell you, like, oh my God, this person's amazing, please hire them. It's kind of this bias thing, right? Because I'm giving you people I want you to call. So you know they're going to say positive things about you. But if I call random person, producer, Victor, whoever you worked with on this TV spot, I call that person because I know them, well, then I'm going to get this unbiased thing because they're on your resume, you work with them. So now I'm calling them and I'm going to get like, hey, how did you like working with Lucia? So it's okay that she put references available upon request, but I think that's a given. So I feel like, why waste the lines on your resume? Like, we've all, you know what I mean? Like, people who are hiring know that if they want to talk to someone, then I can ask for them. Okay, we're going to move on. Lucia, I hope that helped, and I hope, like, after you change some of the things, please definitely send me another one so I can definitely, like, give you the feedback and, like, validation, like, this looks great. Yeah, anyone who submits a resume, I'm always here to kind of say, hey, this is what, I want to correct again and give you some validation that you're going in the right direction. I just don't want to give you feedback and be like, okay, bye. So I'm going to go to the chat really quick. There's a lot of things. Hold on, let me see. I have to make my chat bigger. There's a lot happening here. Okay. What are your, let's see. Can't wait to get back to, Maria, I can't wait to get back to work. Oh my God. As a video editor, shall I add all the projects which edited and assisted a cinematographer? So as a video editor, shall you add the projects which edited and assisted a cinematographer? So, but if your resume is to be an editor, I would. So, I mean, I think everyone kind of, for some reason, they don't think like, oh, if I assisted someone or if it's a short gig or if it's a day gig that it doesn't count. Everything counts. Everything counts. Whenever you're on set or you're doing a job in that realm, even if it was for free, definitely put it. It feels like there's too much info. Yes, definitely agree. My resume, I have just put my set PA work and PA work. Yeah. What are your thoughts? So this is from Ruben. What are your thoughts on including web links? Let's say, for instance, IMDb page, or would that be a no because of the resume being an actual hard copy? So I would suggest I don't like seeing website links on resumes most of the time. And there is a resume that has a website link, and I was going to mention it. I don't like seeing them on resume pages because they look ugly. Like, website links don't look very pretty, right? Unless you have a custom link. And an IMDb link doesn't have a custom like name or whatever. It's going to be like imdb.com/135 whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I don't like putting links on resumes because it makes your resume look ugly. Leave your links for your signature in your email that you're going to email your resume to that person. Okay, so if it is, but I would say, like, you're talking about the hard copy, like, the links will work when you press them on a PDF. So there's that. They are somewhat useful, they make it easy, but also it makes it ugly. So it really depends on what that link looks like. Some people like to put their LinkedIn page on their resume. I hate that. I'm not really a fan of links at all on your resume at all. So I hope that answered your question. It feels like too long to get to experience. Is it worth it as a Set PA to put the first ID under each gig list? Yes, it is, because if you're a really good Set PA, you have been acknowledged by your first. Now, I know that for me, when I was an additional PA, I swear to God, I looked at first ADs as like celebrity people. I was like, I wanted to be them. I didn't really care about the actors or the director. When I saw first AD for, I was like, oh my God, I want to be this person. They're really great. They're calm. They're running the set. And I looked at them as like the big people who really were like, oh my God, starstruck, right? So, and that caused me to close down a little bit and not make myself known to that first AD. And I kind of was like hiding in the shadows. I was very much more introverted on set back then, and I didn't really talk to many people. And I kind of was like, a little bit more shy and a lot less confident. But if you are a Set PA and you are interacting with the first AD and you've had some type of thing where they know your name of some way, they do, and they gotten to know you, I would put your first, right? But if I'm an additional PA, I usually would add my key PA and my second AD and the key second. Adding 4 names is kind of hard, but if you want to just skip over the key PA, then okay, you can do that. But just remember, they might be like, oh, why didn't you add your key PA? Because the key PA is your immediate supervisor as an additional PA. But if your staff, say like your base camp, first team or background or whatever Set PA, and you're staffed on that show, then it's like, okay, second, key second, and the first. So I hope that like clarifies that a little bit. Hi Kit, hello. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next resume, and this is Maria. I love, again, how this is divided up. This one, okay, so first, let me know your first impression of this. Please add in the chat what your first impression of this resume is. Mine is, there's a lot. There's a lot on this page, but I do like how it's a little bit more organized. It is the right format, like it is letter sized. Okay, I do like the use of color. I like how it is organized, like her information. Now, you put phone and email. You don't need to put that. You don't have to, like, it's, for me, I know what an email looks like, and I know what a phone number looks like, so you don't have to tell me that it's a phone number. Okay, so I feel like if you put phone, email, and whatever, you are just wasting space, okay? So underneath email, I don't know if you noticed, but there's another line that's redacted. That's her website, and it was her personal website, which I don't mind that it's there because it's not it didn't make the resume look ugly. So I'm like, okay, that is acceptable. It was like hername.com, which I think this is totally fine. Now, I do like the use of color. I'm a real big fan. Now, I don't use any color on my resume. I don't know why. I kind of express myself through fonts on my resume. And I really, really want to make sure and try to maybe inspire you or encourage you to use color on your resume. Some color that speaks to you. Now, I will say avoid red. Red kind of, like it does like human psychology. It kind of like makes people alert, right? Just think about the psychology of colors and like what that color is saying to people. And you can just Google that. You can be like, okay, what does red say to people naturally? To human nature, what does blue say? Like blue is more calming. Greens are good, oranges, like, but then also you want to make sure that you're putting a color on here that can be seen. So like yellow is kind of not a color you want to go for, or gray. I want to say like stay away from gray because like, you already have black ink, right? You have black text, and just matching it up with gray isn't that, like, it's not it's not enough, right? It's not grabbing me that much. Like all the colors of blue, like your royal blue, light blue, like all those nice blues, that's usually everyone's go-to. So I like that this person chose that the orange color, and I think this is the color of a Google template, which it's okay because this is not the same format, but that's not a bad color. I like this color. Okay, so skills. General film production, 9+ years, social media management, web design, technical. I don't mind the way her skills are divided up. It's not too much. It's like organized in a decent way. Her education's not overwhelming. Licenses and certification, this is okay. Volunteer experience, I do like that you added this. And because it adds to your personality a little bit. Like you're telling me like something you care about. Like people think that volunteer and awards shouldn't be on your resume, but I think that if you have the space, and clearly she does, because now we're going to go over to the other side of this resume, the other column, and say like what she can eliminate, because there's a lot going on over there. So, but on this smaller column where her information is, like, it's nicely laid out. I like the way this looks. So I'm just going to go, sorry, go back to the chat. A lot of text, yes. The info seems like a lot, but it looks very informative. Right, so there's like a fine line. Like if you have a busy resume and there's a lot of information, but like there's some things that are popping out, that's what you want because it gets the reader or the person trying to hire you engaged and it keeps their eyes on the page a little bit more. So Kit, that's actually like very, very a good point that you added because that's what you want to go for. If there's a lot, but there's something that makes you keep reading, that's good. I like that we are very quickly get to experience, right? So it's like clear. It's not so much, and you can jump right over to the next page. So, damn it, red is my favorite color. Yeah, so red is like there are other people who've used red, but they use a deeper red. They don't use like that stop sign red or that very, very crimson red, like the super bright red is something you want to stay away from. Where like when you see it on like traffic signs in like general where it's like exit or caution, like the ones that are like on doors and stuff like that, emergency type red, you want to stay away from that red. If it was 3 bullet points in each, it would be a bit more aesthetic, right? I'm all about making sure that your resume is aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so project experience, related experience. So people are kind of like project experience versus related experience versus experience. They're like, what the hell is the difference? Because some people are like, work history, project experience, related experience. Related experience should mean that this is all the experience that speaks to me being in film and video production. Right now, I didn't even cover film. I totally went past that. So underneath her name, she has film and video production. That is very, very vague. What position you going for, girl? You know what I mean? Like, what are we going for? So that's the thing, is like you really have to tailor that down to like what you're trying to do. Okay, so she does the same thing that Lucia did. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit here. I'm gonna move this a little bit. She does the same thing here, and she puts Bernard and the genie, and then office production assistant, and then costume production assistant, So she's not putting her position first. Again, that's the thing that you should be bolding and putting first. Like, I don't care that you worked on American Horror Stories, but I do care more that you were an office production assistant based on what you're trying to go for, right? So again, remember your position goes first, bold that. I think that I don't mind the dates, but it does, like, the dates make it kind of cluttery, and I don't put dates on my resume because of this. And no one cares about dates, guys. You'll be surprised. In the corporate world, they want all the dates because they want to make sure gaps of employment are there and whatever. So the dates and the location, I don't really, like, I can't say that I care. Do you know what I mean? Because American Horror Story season 11, if you're going to put, okay, also, if you want to do season 11, you can shorten it down by S11, and we know what that means. S11 is season 11. Okay? So I would just put S11, and then you would put, like, FX, ABC, Disney, TV series. Like, that's okay. That's okay to have that there. But the dates, I feel like it just clutters it up a little bit. But I do like how it's a different font, and it's a lighter text, so that's okay. I will accept this, but the one major thing you have to switch up is putting your office production assistant title, like all those, at the top and switching it, okay? All right, so related experience, we're going to go down here. Related experience, video producer, social media manager. Okay, so related experience, it's like sort of in the realm of production, but not really like, narrative, scripted, television type stuff that she wants to do. So I get it. There are a lot of bullets here. There's 4 here, there's 3 here, there's 3 there. Like, usually limit it to 3. There's a lot happening here. So John Jay College, again, switch those. Video producer you want to pop out, not John Jay College. What the hell do I care about the college? I don't care about the college, guys. I don't care. I don't care where you worked. I care about your position. If there's one thing you take away from this review is I care about your position way more than whatever show or whatever company you work for. Okay. Filmed, edited, produced high quality, quick turnaround video content for college-owned digital Holy shit. Okay, that's a lot. That is tongue twisting. It is way too much. Okay, so you can just, I feel like you don't even need all this stuff. You can just take all that out. Executed, carried out, pre-production shot lists and storyboard. Okay, you can put pre-production. Film, edited, quick turn. Okay, I mean, if you were to keep one bullet, maybe it'd be the first one. Responsible for all aspects of post-production, then put post-production, including color correction. I feel like you can take all this out. Or, take out the fluff. ADA compliant, capturing to ensure, I feel like some of that can go over to your skills. I want to make sure you're not repeating yourself, and you're not, so that's good. Operating multicam setup as well as editing, switching for live stream. There's a lot that you need to take out. I feel like this has to be cut down. There's too much in the description. It's okay because you have the space, but also you can afford to take some of this stuff out to make other things pop out. Because if you're really vying for your project experience, because I assume that's the type of stuff you want to work on. You want to be an office PA, and then down the line, I don't know. But if you're going for those type of scripted, narrated television and film, then don't put so much weight in describing you doing this other stuff. Does that make sense? I feel like you want to make sure you cut this down, because then they can ask you about it. Okay, so 30 under 30, programming director, manager. See, program director, manager, that's dope as fuck, right? So it's make that position, I need it to be first. I need it to pop out, because that is going to be the big grab. That's what people want to see. Served at the program. Okay, so 30 to 30 film festival. Okay, fine. I got you. Fine. Okay, program director, manager. Okay, and your first bullet is served as a program director or manager since the inception. I feel like you're repeating yourself, but I know what you're trying to get at, that you've been there since the beginning, right? You were maybe a I don't know how you describe original member of or whatever, but you're repeating yourself there. Don't tell me what you just told me. You have to give me a little something extra. Discovered young emerging storytellers around the world and presented them in the opportunity to share their fresh perspective. We all know what 30 under 30 is, right? Okay, so I think if you discovered young emerging storytellers, I think that is all you need to tell me. Organized and selected all film submissions through Film Freeway, managed the official website, all that stuff. I feel like that stuff you can... I don't think it needs to be there, because then if they want to talk to you about this job, they're going to ask you. And if you want to keep it organized and selected all film submissions, through Film Freeway, I would just kind of cross that out, because I feel I don't know if that is really, does that help or hurt you? I'm not sure where I follow that, but I feel if I were to take anything out, I would just take out through Film Freeway. Manage the official website. And first of all, manage the official website. You can shorten that down to website management. 2 words versus 4. And we're going for concise, right? You have to make sure things are shortened. And all contact with filmmakers, venues, sponsors, as well as media coverage. We can trim the fat. We can definitely trim the fat on this. You did a good job of trying to say a lot in this one sentence, but we can even cut it down even more. Okay, Tribeca Film Festival, social media video producer. Produce, shot, edited video content for social media platforms. I feel like that is the job. Okay, I'll keep it there, because some people are like, what did you do as a social media video producer? Oh, I produce social media. Sorry, I'm such an asshole. I'm sorry. Ability to work within the creative content department and independently manage deadlines in a fast-paced environment. Oh God, that's okay. Interviewed, coordinated with high-profile on-camera talent for a live stream series. Some of this is okay, but you definitely have some stuff that you can cut down. You can trim the fat, 100%. And then again, I implore you to make sure that you are highlighting your position and not the people you work for. That's just where I'm at. Also, with your resume, what I will say is that I don't really know where you're trying to go. Does that make sense? Because film and video production, like I said before, is kind of vague. What's like your ultimate goal? What are you trying to go for? And I think that might be a useful thing because you have video producer, program director, manager, another social media video producer. So are you trying to get to be a scripted television or film producer, narrative producer? Is that what you're trying to go for? And I think maybe if you told me in one sentence over here, right underneath your name and all that stuff, it might be useful. I'm just saying, because sometimes people want to keep your goals, like people want to know your goals, so they want to know where you're going, right? Because especially for people just starting out in film and you're a set PA, it's like, okay, well, are you trying to be an AD? Are you trying to be a producer? Are you trying, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know the goals sometimes. So I think with your project experience versus related experience, I get that, but also where are you trying to go? So I can it closes your resume up like, oh, okay, this is what she's going for. This is what she's vying for and like trying to gun for in the future or whatever. So I think I just need a little bit more clarity on like what position you're trying to go for. And I think some people are going to be like, oh, but the position she's applying for is the thing that she is gonna, that tells you right there. But it's more than that. I feel like it's definitely more than that, especially when you work in scripted television and film. It's like we want to know where you want to go, right? Are you trying to be a writer? Are you trying to be a director? Like, we just want to know, tell me in one sentence, just one quick sentence. And people are saying, like, in the resume world, they're like, oh, get rid of your objective and your personal summary. Like, I'm sorry, but when people give me one small sentence about who they are or what they're trying to do, it paints a picture for me, and I get to know that person a little bit better. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to go to the chat. Chat is moving. Whew, okay. Okay, 3 bullets. Yes. Now, shorten down those bullets. With more on the white page, the format of the project is also off. The position is very hidden, right? Exactly. So, yes, the dates distract me. Yes. So, like, there's a lot of things that I mentioned that you guys put in the chat. So, thank you for the validation and the backup. So, Amanda, hello, Amanda, for being a channel member. Thank you very much. If you're trying to be a channel member, you can hit the join button and help support Beyond Film School. I'm just saying. I'm unemployed, guys. We have to help me out. Okay. Sorry I'm late, but I don't know if it's just me. But when I look at it, it's like, where do I look first? Okay, that's not a bad observation, right? There's a lot of things, but at least you're kind of like trying to, your eyes stay there and you're like, okay, where do I want to go? Yes, sounds like AI. Because I've seen more, some AI resume and adds a lot of description and fluff. Exactly, right? And that's the thing we want to get away from, because when you think about a person reading your resume, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm repeating myself, or this is bullshit, or like, I can take this out. Like, definitely trim the fat. Remember, it's going to be a person reading it, not a computer. Yeah, Amanda, thank you. If descriptions were short and sweet and to the point, as they say, I love how you put that, it would look okay to me. Yes, if it was a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise, then I think it'd be more easy to read for sure. Too much is being said. This is, hey Maria, girl, thank you for being here. First of all, we're like, oh no, Maria's here. This is me. I'm worried about the resume looking bare. Also, this has not been touched by AI, but I agree there is a little bit too much fluff. So, okay, so I'm worried about the resume looking bare. So here's the thing, is that you can play with, and I understand, like, people are like, oh, but there's nothing on my resume. Like, I can show you a bare resume. I've gotten some zingers in my Set PA classes. In my Set PA class, which, by the way, is one happening in February. So in my class, what I do is I have everyone submit their production resume and I correct it. And I've gotten some really bare resumes because they don't know what to put on the page. They're like, what do I put? And that's more of like people with zero experience or people trying to change careers because they think that none of their experience is related to film stuff, which you'll be surprised. There is a ton of stuff that you can put on your resume that's like attractive to people who work in film. So for you, you're like worried about it looking bare. So I guess maybe switch that thinking. And I think this kind of relates to me and how like my, I guess this is maybe a little personal, like my partner, because I always say like, just because the space is there doesn't mean you have to use it. It's like when people are like, they have like tons of storage and closets and stuff, like just because it's like free space in your house, people just want to put something there. Well, I don't like clutter. So I try to make sure there's some type of negative space in my living space, and I feel like there has to be that on your resume too. Don't be afraid of there being space, because here's the thing, if there's a little bit of space, a little bit of negative space on your resume, then the eyes can be focused to one area that you want them to go to. Does that make sense? Because if there's not like so bare where you're not giving enough information, but there's enough information here where you can take some things away, and it'll still look really great, but then what's going to happen is that things are going to start popping off the page that you want to focus on and you want that person to see first, right? And I think that is what Amanda was saying with like, I don't know where my eyes want to go. I mean, my eyes, what happens to me is like when I look at this resume, I go right for your name, I go down the first column, and then I go right to the next column over. But then other people, which they don't have my brain, I'm like very linear and like, you know, analytical and logical. So it's like some people are like, you know, they look at the whole thing, right? And then they're like, where do I go first? So I think some negative space, don't worry about it. Like, and you can play with your font sizing here too, where it's like, maybe you want your descriptions to be a little bit bigger. Maybe you can use, you know, you can put your dates in a different spot. If you have more space to play with, you might be able to format it in a little bit more like aesthetically pleasing format. If you have more space to play with, you can put things in different areas. So I hope that helped, Maria. I'm gonna go to the chat really quick. Let's see. Okay, so Maria, I hope that helped. It was okay. Where do I look first? Because I used to do the same thing, a lot of fuss, but thank you to Amber Shep. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you for the shout out, first of all. I definitely want to stay in production department and work up to coordinator, but I'm open to side jobs to other things like editor, videographer, so that what I have. So here's the thing, Maria, is I think if you've been here the whole time, maybe you heard me, but with the last resume with Lucia is that she had producer and scriptwriter, where she should have 2 resumes. And I think that if you're open to things like editing and videographer, then that's a separate resume. Okay, so your production coordinator and like a production department, that is one resume. And then your, you know, videographer, editor, all that's going to be a separate resume. So unfortunately, I would say have 2 resumes. Like when I was coming out of college, I had editing experience. I was a camera person. I also was a set PA. So I had 3 different resumes, guys. And whatever job would pop up when like if there was an editor position, then I would submit my editor resume. And then I would submit my PA resume to like, you know, things that needed PAs and stuff. So separate resumes for different disciplines. You can't put it all on one page. That is definitely the easier thing to do. But also what's going to do is it's going to see the person that you are not an expert. And the thing that I hate is that in this world, we all like to put people in boxes. This is human nature. Like, okay, this person is a dentist and that's all they do. Like, do they have hobbies? Do they probably run a side business? Are they an entrepreneur or something? They probably are. But we want to put people in boxes. We want to put them in nice, clear-cut categories. Like, people see me only as an AD, right? They're like, okay, Amber is just assistant director. So they don't think that like, oh, well, she has an entrepreneur because she owns a business and she runs Beyond Film School. They don't want to think about that. It's either one or the other. But we all know in the real world and how we live our lives, we definitely have different things that we do. We have different disciplines. We have hobbies. We have interests. We have things that like you might be super analytical and logical in another area that you work in, but then you're super creative in others. Like, and I think me being an AD and doing this YouTube channel is, yes, I have to write and shoot and edit. That's super creative. But then in my day-to-day life, I'm super logical and I'm like doing logistics and I'm trying to manage a team. And like, that's very different. That's not creative. So 2 different types of disciplines. But remember, when it comes to your resume, they want to know they're hiring someone that is an expert, you know, so to say. Like, they want someone that's like in that realm that like, okay, I want to know that if I'm hiring someone to do this editing position, they know how to fucking edit the shit out of anything, right? I don't want to know that they have editing experience and camera experience and then they're going to be they're a background artist, you know what I mean? So you want to make sure that regardless of who you are, you want to make sure that you're selling yourself on that page as a certain thing, but also at the same time, which is super difficult, you want to make sure that you're putting your personality on the page too. And you can show those things like, Maria, your volunteer experience. Like, if you were to take out some of the video, like the editing or whatever you're trying to put on here, like, I would say that for another resume, but then like when you add that whole like volunteer experience, that tells me that like you care about your community. You know, like that paints a bigger or a better, or I guess more detailed picture of who you are as a person. So it's very hard. And then some people like to put their hobbies. And I remember a resume that I got in my last class where someone put they were a long distance runner. Like, they had hobbies on their resume, and I was like, dope, this is great, because like I'm a long distance runner. Like, I love running. So like when I saw that on the page, that showed me like, oh, this is like that like painted a better picture of that person. And I was like, oh great, now I know that I can talk to him about running and stuff, you know. So don't be afraid to put hobbies and certain interests, but when it comes to your experience, you want to be very laser focused on what position you're trying to sell that you have experience in. That was like a real big soapbox, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so Obi-Wan, I would take the quality over quantity at Maria, because that is a kick-ass amount of experience. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have dope experience. So like, let's not dumb that down, but you can make some things pop off, like off the page a little bit more. If I have that resume, I'd be getting a higher daily. Carlos, how often should we include personal passion short films? For example, if the short film did really well. Carlos, I guess it depends on what your position was on the film and what position you're going for. So if, like, for example, when I was a indie first AD and I was coming up and I hadn't gotten my first feature film, I added all my short films on that resume, because all those short films, they add up to being like, okay, yes, now she can handle a feature film. So I added, when I was an indie first AD, like, I added all my stuff. Like, my thing was stacked. Like, you should definitely add short films to your resume. Like, I don't see why you wouldn't. So I guess maybe I need a little bit more context for that question, Carlos. Hello, George. Thank you for joining. Okay, update on the strike. We can get to that. Why not? Maybe like in a couple minutes. I'll do it at like 2:00 or something. How we include film festival selections in resume? Should we not include ITV? Film, like, so if you're a director or producer, like, you can create a separate section. Like, you just, you know, like how, let's say, I'm just gonna go back to Maria. You know how she has project experience, right? And then related experience. Like, you can put in there like film festival selections or whatever. You can make a whole different section for it. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't. Like, remember, you can create your resume however you want. You can do whatever you want with it, just as long as you're showing your experience, showing who you are, and you're honest about it. Because I don't want to get into people who lie about their experience on their resume, because I've definitely heard about a select few of camera people who are like, they lied about everything on their resume and they got into the camera department, which I do not, because that's like fraud. We don't want to do that. ITV, add it. Why not? I would say add it. I went straight to the related experience and worked my way out. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. You are very, very welcome, Maria. This is why I do this, because if I can help improve your resume and then you get more interviews and you get like more the job that you want instead of like stuff you have to settle for, that's my goal for you. I agree with having different resumes, even though it may seem overwhelming. I have 4. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so annoying, and I thank God that I'm like very disciplined. If I had to make another resume, it is a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will tell you first and foremost, like, it is not fun making multiple resumes. Like, take a weekend. Take a few hours a day and just like sit down with yourself and be like, I have this resume and maybe this resume. I've had 3 max. I've never gone more than 3. So let's get to, we're going to get to Andrew's. Now I'm going to tear Andrew apart. Sorry, he's not going to be with us in the chat. He is working right now. And the first thing I want you to notice is that I know that he used a legal format. He went way past letter sized. Okay, because this is very, very tiny. Okay, he also went to 2 pages, which is a big no-no. And he is from New Zealand, and I don't know, maybe it's different around, you know, down there. I love Australia, New Zealand. I've been there. I'm like very grateful that I've actually been down there. But I can't see a case where 2 pages is going to do you any favors, okay? At all costs, do not go past 1 page, please. Please, please, please. So with this one, you guys are already doing it. Please let me know your first impression of this resume. Now, he used a color that I wouldn't recommend. He did use a darker red. And like I said before, Nikolay, like when you said your favorite color was red, you can use red. You can use it to be, on your resume. But if it is too bright, then maybe people are going to get the wrong impression of you. You're giving them the wrong signals. You don't want to do that. I mean, it's dark enough, like maybe not this block here, but the block where it's like personal info, skills, interests, like maybe I would use that red, not the brighter red, but this is a real big block. This is a real big block and you are wasting a ton of space. So you can definitely get all this information on 1 page because the way it's formatted, you are just wasting all the space. It's so much. Right, and Nikolay, why is there a big red rectangle? This is the first impression. I'm sorry, Andrew, when you watch this. But that is a lot of space that you're wasting. And your font is so small. It's just like, come on, bro. Okay. Also, I'm going to just start with, gosh, I just don't even know. I guess I'll go with I already talked about this red rectangle that we got going on here. Yeah, Amanda's saying, I think this looks like a Google Docs template and it looks like it's double spaced to me. Now, I don't mind if people use the templates, right? And there's one Google template that I hate that everyone uses, and I see it every class that I do for my Set PAs. I see it every time, and I'm like, bro, stop using this fucking template. It's so ugly. The thing with templates is that you think it's a template that's out there, so you should use it, that other people are using it, and it's like, since it's a template, of course I'm going to use it, right? Why wouldn't I? But the thing is with templates is that they put you in a box and you can't customize it to who you are and what you want to convey to whoever is reading your resume, right? So I would be weary about templates, but also make sure you use templates and you change things around to tailor it to you and the information you want to put on the page. So that's my first thing with templates. It's okay to use them, just make sure that it doesn't look like a template after you're done making your resume, right? Because then I know you didn't really put any work into your resume. You didn't really tailor it to who you are and stuff. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. Now I have to zoom in because this guy's got some real small font and it's like, what is going on? Look how okay. The first thing I don't like is we have, and I don't know if this bothers anyone else. Let me know if this bothers your eye. When I see lines like this where the 2 lines, the divider lines over work history. Now, first of all, work history, I would say experience because your resume is saying assistant director. And then work history is your Set PA, cast driver, whatever. That is experience when it comes to being an AD. So I wouldn't call it work history. Your work history is basically every job you've worked, regardless of if it's related or not to the job you're applying for. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows the difference between experience, related experience, and work history. Work history is like every job. Like when I was a Set PA and I was trying to get those staff jobs, I had a resume that had my experience, which was not me being a barista. Because at the time I was day playing as much as I could, but also I was being a barista on the weekends to make ends meet or whatever. But did I put my barista job on there? No, because that depends. Like you can say a customer service skills or whatever, but I'm trying to make sure it's magnified that I have the experience. Now, if I was making a work history, then yes, I would have added the fact that I've been a barista for a few years while I was day playing. So first of all, I would change work history to experience. And this could be a culture shift that maybe I'm not aware of. So definitely, Andrew, we can definitely email back and forth about this and, where the things stand. But I think this can be so much tighter. And the one thing I don't like is the block at the top and the dividers over and below work history. It doesn't line up with personal info because there are blocks on this side, and I know it's not meant to, but the fact that it's off like that is bothering my eyeballs, and I cannot even tell you why. Like, I just, and the thing is, you don't want things to bother people's eyeballs, right? I don't know if anyone else has that, like, you know, that thing bothering them, but this is kind of like, it's not aesthetically pleasing to my eye. Okay, and the next thing is if you look down, you have at least a half an inch of this red block. You can make it skinnier, and then you can expand your information here a little bit, okay? And then you don't have to use this double lines for your dates. I hate the dates. Makes it look really ugly. I hate it. I don't like it. So we'll take the dates out. Sorry for that ugly face, guys. Okay, and then we don't need... He has quotes. Now, this is the second time ever that I've seen quotes on a resume. The first time it was Joe, and Joe is a channel member, and he sometimes joins my live streams, but he's all the way in Alaska. Or I think maybe he might be traveling now. But either way, like, it worked for him because he put it in a space that he had room for. He filled the space, right? In this instance, you have 2 pages and you don't have the space. Okay, I don't mind that you have like these, you know, those quotes that people have said about you. Okay, fine. But I don't like these random bullets above work history. And I know that's like your qualifying summary or your qualifications or whatever. Assistant director in New Zealand, film and TV. Previously living in Dubai, working in cabin crew for Emirates for 6 years. Very experienced working in a team environment, managing, providing solutions. Sound skills in areas of planning, organization, communication. You're saying all great things, but it's so damn small and it's put in the wrong spot. I feel like it's definitely in the wrong spot. I feel like I might have put that in the red or something. Thorough understanding of the importance of effective time management. These are all great things that you're saying. I like the things that you're saying. It kind of bothers me that it's just so random. It's like there's nothing above that, right? It's like you have your name, assistant director, and then you have these random bullet points. I like what you're saying, but they're just in the wrong place. I think that if you had like a label above it, personal summary or something, I don't know if you need to put assistant director in news, because I feel like that's a waste. That first bullet point is a waste, because if you're giving me your info and all of your experiences are in New Zealand, then I already know you're an assistant. I feel like it's a waste. Just take that line out. It's a waste. I'm thinking about it way too much, therefore it's not even good to be there. Okay, work history. We're gonna get into that. So I love that you put your position first. It's bolded. That's exactly what you want to do. So kudos there. Now, 5th season, it's like you don't need to put 5th season. You can put S5. S.5, we know that's going to be season 5. So there. Now, if you're a set PA, you shouldn't be adding your producer. You should add whoever your ADs are. So you should just get that. I think you're adding the producer because it's a big name, Jason Momoa. I get that. But if you're working in New Zealand and you're in the New Zealand film community, you want to put the people that they know. So the ADs or producers might be hiring you, or your UPM might be hiring you. So you want to make sure that you add those people, because those are your cohorts and their cohorts. So they're going to call the people they know for a recommendation about you. So, oh my God, director, producer, and DP driver. Just put driver. You know what I mean? Driver for interest. And so, like, I think I would just put VIP driver. That tells me all I need to know, right? I think there's just a lot of stuff here. The double spacing is not necessarily, you can get all this on one line. If you take away a little bit of this red box, like I don't mind the red box, okay? People are, tearing you up for this red box, okay? They're tearing you up for the red box, but if it was maybe a lighter color or a darker red, something, you change the color of the box, you make it a little bit more skinnier, and then you have more of the white that you can utilize, and then you can get all these on one line, and then you can use your space more wisely. Okay, extras coordinator and AD. Okay, 3rd AD additional. I mean, you could just put additional AD, right? Like I think key set PA, 3rd AD set PA. Okay, so if you were a 3rd AD and a Set PA and a cast driver, that means like they bumped you up, I assume. Those are separate lines. So the fact that it's all on one line, I guess I understand, but also those are separate jobs. Even though it's in the same job, if you were, for example, like on season 3 of Equalizer, I was a second, and then I was a base camp AD, but on the same season, but I definitely use separate lines. So want to make sure you can expand that out. And it's like, people are like, Amber, don't give him anything else to add to his resume. But those are 3 different positions. You don't want to just like mesh them all in one. Okay, so we have these, was great working with you. I don't know. I think it's tacky. Guys, what do you guys think about these quotes? I don't know. I really need an opinion about these quotes. Muchas gracias for your support. Was great working with you. Okay, first AD. So I think instead of these quotes, you need to list out who your ADs were. You have to put them on. I think you definitely have to list your ADs. If you're an AD, like the ADs above you and the UPM above you, you should be listing those out. And I think I've kind of exhausted my energy for all the for all the work history he has here. So tell me this, and Andrew, I guess we'll email back and forth about this. Set PA versus production assistant. I feel like you have to be consistent here. Why wouldn't you call yourself a set PA there? I'm just curious, because even though it was a short film, I'm pretty sure you're still on set, so you can call yourself a set PA and like be consistent with your labeling a little bit. That is a little confusing. Like, I don't think you need to be adding these big names, especially if you're a PA. Like, you want to add the people that you worked under, your supervisors, which is your key PA, and then like your ADs above you. So this is kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go to the chat really quick. Some people, wait, let's see what's, the quotes are weird, right? It's a little bit, it's like, takes me out of it a little bit. I'm like, I guess if I want the recommendations, I'm going to call that person. But I mean, I get what he's doing, but also he doesn't have the space for it. If he found a space for it, I would be like, okay, dope. Then I get these little quotes. Let's see. So the first couple of, I'm really behind. Okay. Okay, Obi-Wan Martin, I know in the corporate world in New Zealand, resumes are usually 2 pages minimum. A lot of them are 4 pages long. Yo, that is bananas. Can I just say, some of the companies see 2 pages as a short resume. That's crazy to me. So if that is the case, if that is true about New Zealand, that most people, but we're talking corporate world versus the film world, and if I know film people, we don't have time to go through 2, 3, 4 pages of a resume, right? I don't know. Andrew, I definitely would talk to another AD and see what their resume looks like. A couple of them. Like, ask for a couple of resumes. Like, hey, can I look at your resume? What does your resume look like? I want to know if I'm doing the right thing. What should we be doing? Because if this is true, then that explains why Andrew is expanding out to 2 pages and it looks like he's wasting all this space. Because he's like, how do I make this look bigger than it is? Because if that is the trend in New Zealand, where most resumes are going to be 2 to 4 pages, which I think is crazy. Who's the time for that? Oh my goodness. Then I understand why there's double spacing. There's quotes in there. What else can I add? So I understand what's happening here, if that is the case. So thanks for saying that, Obi-Wan Martin, because I would have been like, what is happening here? Okay, just going to go back to the chat really quick. I like that he lists his position first. Yes. So that's good. As far as for the film world out there, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. So thanks for clarifying that. Like, at least I know that in the corporate world, that's what they're expecting. But, I mean, I know countries are different, and I know the film markets are different. But as far as film and how we work, like, we don't got a lot of time. And we have to use money in a short amount of time, and there's not enough money to go around. So I think that they're not going to spend that much time looking at resumes either. Like, my film background tells me that there's not a lot of time that they're going to utilize to hire people. But also, just with like, not a lot of things are popping off the page because the things are so spread out and so tiny. So, okay. What are those bullet points at the top? They feel like they don't belong, right? Okay, so I'm glad you think that, because I just feel a little lost. I'm like, what is happening? It's like they're randomly there, so we need something else there. We need like a category header, or I don't know, something needs to go there, okay? Um, what are the, okay, so wait, he has quotes. I like how you, like you bolded it out. Like he has quotes from people. That's so funny. Okay, so Amanda, for his extra coordinator in AD positions for miles from nowhere, is that different? Because in the US, one of the responsibilities of the day is to set background. Is the format different in New Zealand? It might be. Amanda, it definitely might be. Extras coordinator might, I mean, extras coordinator to me is like maybe the background PA. Maybe, probably. Could be the equivalent. I believe they have different titles for the same position. Like he has third AD, which is, yeah, this is the second AD. Yeah, that's right. I think the quote makes me not want to work with this guy. Thanks for that first impression, because that makes sense. It feels like self-justification, but it takes away from the actual position he did. Yeah, I think maybe I don't mind them, but I feel like they have to be in the right spot. Yes, list your AD or UPM without a quote, because they can use a reference when someone looks at the application. Yes. Hello from Japan. Oh my goodness. They make time and hard handwrite each what? I don't believe you. In Japan, they make time and handwrite each resume. I don't believe you. I'm standing by that. I don't believe you. Yeah, extras coordinator is what they call it. Yeah, the background PA. We chop and change it up. Okay. So as long as I'm like, right. So that's the thing that I thought. So it's good that, I mean, yes, Japan is built different, but okay, they're different, but I feel like Japan is like the epitome of efficiency though over there. So I want to see a handwritten resume. Like I want one that's like, do you have one? Show me yours. Please, Jesus. Like send it to me. Regulus, please send it to me. I want to see, just like screenshot it for me. Okay. So I'm going to move on in Andrew's resume, because what he does next on the second page, good Lord, he goes on with his experience with nothing in this red block, which is also like, holy hell. Then he has education. And then he has a bunch of references. Now, people in other countries, my Japan folk, Obi-Wan Martin from Ireland, like, I don't know. These references, that's a lot of references. I would cap it at 3 references, but in terms of the US and how we want to save time, like 3. And how efficient we have to be on one page. Like, if you're going to put references, then I would definitely just cap it at 3, and that's about it. Oh man, this is a lot. There's a lot. The references are too much for me. And I think, Andrew, I don't know, because New Zealand is wildly different than the US. Like the work culture is a little bit differently. This may be out of my wheelhouse now. All the stuff I said to you, I don't know. I'm like, now I'm doubting myself, because I'm like, New Zealand's different. But what I will say is that this can be, you can make your text a little bit bigger. Like you have this big ass space in this red, right? Organization. I didn't even get to your skills. I like how there's skills here. Organization, communication, teamwork, time management, problem solving, punctual, reliable, flexible, adaptable, friendly, personable. I like all those things. Just make them bigger. You can afford to make this text bigger. Like that, you can definitely make this text bigger. And then your interests, art and film, fitness, photography, traveling. Love it. I don't mind those being there. I don't mind it. So if anyone else has a problem with those, let me know. But I think those are fine. Just make the text a little bit bigger. You can just utilize the space. You want to make sure things are popping out, right? Pop it out. And the one thing that is popping out is your position. So that is good. That is working in your favor. I just would kind of maybe not make it like there's so much stuff here and spacing and just now Maria, if she's still here, I don't know. I would like she was worried about the bare space. This like this big block here, this red block, and then like when we go to the next page, like this red block, like that is bare space, where it's like this can all be definitely more efficient and put onto one page. So Andrew, I hope that helped you. I definitely would recommend you put experience and then something at the top here that will like mark these bullet points out here, like personal qualifications, summary, whatever it is. Like I like what you're saying there. Again, I like what you're saying here in your skills. Just make things a little bit bigger, fill the page a little bit, because now we are getting to like the bare, the bare, like too much negative space is not working in your favor. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to the chat really quick because I got some things. Let's see. In Japan, Japan is built different. They judge calligraphy in Japan. Yo, Obi-Wan, I hope. I can't. He has both references and quotes. Yes, he has both. They counteract each other. Right, exactly. That's like too much. 3 references if you even have space. Exactly. Thank you so much for my international folks who are watching this live stream, because you're definitely like giving me a little bit of validation as far as like, that was way too many references. Like, who the fuck do I even call? Like, I don't know. 3 is enough. In Japan, the needs of your own can even be part of the hiring manager filtering criteria. Many will look for clearly written kanji that are consistently aligned. I leave them off unless requested. Thank you so much, because that's what I recommend for everybody. Like, I don't want to see references upon request or whatever, or references on your resume. No, thank you. What's on the red block on page 1? Shouldn't it also be on page 2? I see what you're saying. So, Amanda, you're saying like, oh, he added this stuff here. Why not add it on this next page? Which, it's different information, so I wouldn't put the same information. That'd be kind of weird. Maybe like maybe if he does stick with multiple pages, then maybe his personal information would be on that second page. And then maybe something else, the skills or those sections that follow his personal information would be different. But I see what you're saying. I see like your where your mind is going with that. But yeah, I would probably add my name back here. That's actually a good suggestion. Like, his name and information should at least be on page 2 somewhere. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next resume. So Ahmed, I have so many things about this resume. I don't know if he's watching. If you're watching, please let us know. And his last name is Blue, and I love that he put it in blue, but I just wish that he got a little bit more consistent with that color, and he used it in other places in his resume. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Nikolai, yes, where are we gonna talk about the strike? Okay, yeah, so I will pause here with his resume, and I'll just talk about the strikes really quick. So the writer's strike has ended as of like last week, like 10 days ago now. I think 10 days ago. So the writer's strike is over. They are back to work. The studios are now getting their like text messages from all the writers, and they're like, hey, glad that's over. Hope to work with you again. So now with SAG, they talked last week. They talked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I believe. And they are continuing talks Monday. So we don't know how that's going. There's some speculation that the strike, I should say, with the actors is, some people are saying, oh, we're going to be back to work in January, which that is fucking frightening to me, because I want to get back to work sooner than that. And I think all the speculation, and I had a meeting, let's see, Amanda, 9/25/23 SAG negotiations resume tomorrow. 9/25. Oh, that's from an article. You're saying from the 25th. So wait, we're in October. So yeah, no, SAG negotiations start again tomorrow. So yeah, again, they resume tomorrow. Why is that date there? Yo, Amanda, that date for some reason is tripping me out. Okay, so I had a meeting, like, because every now and then with like my Beyond Film School alumni, I get together and have like a meetup with them just to kind of see what they're up to, good news, things they're trying to achieve, whatever, so I can stay connected with my alumni. And I told them, their anxiety or their worry about getting back to work, and it's not going to help you to be anxious and whatever, like trying to figure out how you're going to get jobs or getting back into working on set or whatever. But also, if they're watching the trades, now if the trades, I don't know if you guys know when we say the trades Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and Deadline, the film trades. And they are the first ones that are going to report on the stuff like the strikes. So in those publications, they always reference and resource people who are like, oh, from a source, from a friend that was in the negotiating room. Like, it's never from those people who are actually in the room. And the reason why that is because there's a media blackout. So they're reporting things that are really just hearsay and like on the rumor mill. There's no fact in it until the SAG or AMPTP, when they email their members and they say, okay, we're going to be doing this, that's when that's from the source. When SAG emails their members something, and SAG, if they choose to share, with them, then usually their members are going to be like posting that on social media and stuff. So until they do those things, we don't know how well they're going. There's no hot and cold about it, meaning like they don't know how well they're going or how bad they're going. The point is that I want everyone to take is they're still talking, and I think that's what matters. Like, no one's walked away from the table being pissed off. So I guess that's working in our favor, is that they're continuing talks, and that's where we need them to be at, as long as they keep talking. And there's a lot of articles out there, I guess speculating when we're going to get back to work, but there are shows that are waiting. Just, they're ready to go. They've been in prep. The writers are back. They've been writing episodes, or they're, whatever films need to, like, they are waiting for the actors to get their deal, because as soon as the actors are good, then they're going to go right into production. I don't believe that we're going to be waiting till January to get production going. I don't believe that. I mean, I can't. I refuse. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I mean, that's where we are with SAG. And I think just, when you look at anything that's published, or these news articles and stuff, like, and the thing is, like, people on CBS and NBC, they're like not as quick to report on them, and it's weird that people are like really delayed in like the news. So follow the trades; those are going to be the first people who are going to report on the strikes, not like NBC or like CNN or whatever. They're not going to be up to date, if you will, I guess, as much as the other ones. But also, it's kind of like, be careful what you're reading, and just make sure you have a critical eye when you are like looking at articles and stuff that they, oh my God, like, is film dead? We're never gonna go back to filmmaking, and like AI is gonna take over everything. I'm like, please shut the fuck up. I'm not. There are people also on my channel who are like commenting on my videos like, get out of film, Amber. You can't be in this industry. Don't tell anyone to get into this industry. It's like, I'm sorry, we have a while. We have a long, long while. AI is in its infancy, okay? Like, yes, Chat GPT is doing some amazing things for content creators, but you have to feed that stuff. You have to, like, interact with it a lot. You have to feed it information in order to get, like, even decent copy for a social media post or something. So just keep that in mind, that these things are in its infancy, okay? And also, like, it helps enhance. It's not going to take away. It's going to be years and years and years. I'm going to be old or dead probably before like filmmaking just stops completely and is done by a machine. So you can quote me on that if you want. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Please give me your opinion about AI, but people are freaking the fuck out about AI, and you don't need to be, okay? Sorry for my swearing. I'm just really passionate about it. I'm tired of people being like, get out of film. Someone's making these movies, okay? Because right now, there's no robots, okay? There's no one coordinating background. There's no robot that is like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so I'm just glad that SAG allowed entered agreements. That's all the work I've been able to get. Yeah, so there's the indie work is saving a lot of people. So that's great that you're getting that work, Nicolay. Or KPM booked for the entire duration except for the last 2 days. That's great. Obi-Wan tried linking a page my friend in Japan used to help him write his resume because his kanji are not up to scratch, but they do like handwritten more. That's crazy. Oh my God. I have to look into this now. I want to find this, because that means that person took the effort to do it handwritten. So, I mean, I'm really into this whole like handwritten resume from Japan. So like, that's like mind-blowing cultural shock right there. Amanda, my last gig, I believe, had to get a waiver because it was a live event, and an interview that I have in a few days is also a live event. Great. That's good. Well, congrats on getting your interview. Stay in the industry, Amber. We all need you. But don't worry, I'm not leaving. I love aging too much. I love working on film too much. Okay, we're going to get to Blue's resume. So some of the first impressions before I move on. The first impressions, let's see. I saw someone write about it. No? Okay, massive text overload. There we go. We're gonna go from there. Okay, there's a lot going on here. This is more your corporate format. This is like a regular resume that you would submit online to get the bots to make sure it goes to the hiring manager. This is not what we want if you are trying to go for film production stuff. I'm getting a little tired here. Oh my God, I need a sandwich, guys. So there's no personal statement. There's no, I want something to like bring me into the resume, and this doesn't have it. But I do like the fact that it is The work experience, like your category headers are running into your information a little bit too much. And underneath that, remember guys, definitely let me know your first impressions of this a little bit, and like anything you like or don't like about this is only going to help him with his resume. So the one thing I did, okay, just start from the beginning, the fact that you use the color blue for your last name, dope. I love that. But maybe if you made that blue consistent throughout your resume, that would be even better. Like that would just hit that home, like even just like it would drive it home a little bit better. So maybe your category headers would also be that color, like work experience would be that color, skills, education, because then it will divide up those sections a little bit better and it'll be pleasing to my eye, and my eye will be able to organize this information a little bit better, because right now it's very overwhelming. Underneath work experience is the location, the company, the location, which I feel like you can fit that on another line and not waste the lines of space. And I don't know why would you, I understand like you're bolding your position, which is good, that's fine, but I would totally just move the company and the location right next to production coordinator. Like if you tabbed it over, you have the space there, so you can totally use that. Like don't waste the line. And then, or at least give yourself some breathing room on your resume, because this is all kind of like jam-packed. One thing you do got going for you is that it's one page, letter format, for sure. Let's see. Then we have, I do like how you have production coordinator, production assistant. Like, I like that you have your positions bolded. That's great. America's Cup, various video game related content. Okay, that's okay. I'll take it. But then you go into 4 bullets. You have 4 bullets and then 5 bullets on your last one. Let's see. Coordinated. You use coordinate like a bunch of times. Now, I know what a production coordinator does. And so do a lot of people who would hire a production coordinator if that is the position you want to consistently go into. So I guess maybe I need some direction of where you're trying to go. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to hydrate. Oh, my goodness. So, coordinated multiple projects concurrently, demonstrating effective multitasking organization skills. Okay, wow. There's a lot of fluff there. There's a lot of things going on. Created detailed and accurate call sheets for cast and crew, contributed to efficient on-set operations. Yo, you created call sheets as a production coordinator? What the hell? Sorry. Led a team of 12 production assistants, delegated tasks. Coordinated all aspects of travel for 13 cast members. I feel like I don't mind that all that's there. I don't mind that it's there, but I also know that's what you do as a production coordinator. So how do you guys feel about these bullet points though? Like we can definitely shorten. You have to make these a little bit more concise. I think coordinated multiple projects, demonstrating multitasking. I feel like coordinating multiple projects concurrently. Okay, then after that, take all that out. Created detail and accurate. Created call sheets for cast and crew. That's all you need. Led a team of 12 production assistants. That's it. That's all you need. Coordinated all aspects of travel for 13 cast members. That's all you need. So I think we can take out half of all those sentences. Okay, your next thing, another production coordinator. Again, you have 4 bullet points. Now they're a little bit shorter. Assist in the setup and striking of equipment for the live racing event. So assist in setup and striking of equipment. Boom, that's it. Oversaw the assembly of 2,000 plus handmade VIP, no limit gift bags for what the fuck? Okay, oversaw the assembly of 2,000 handmade. I feel like that was a very hard, challenging thing you had to do, and that's why that thing is on your resume, because you're like, that was a whole undertaking, and I get that. But I don't know why I don't care. I feel so bad. I don't know if it's resume worthy, but maybe it might be something you talk about in the interview or something. I don't know how everyone in the chat feels about that gift bag line. Okay, operated the VIP fan engagement tent. And Communicated event. So I know what you're doing, like, just like you're showing your results, like 2,000 plus handmade VIP bags, 6,000 plus attendees. Like, I get that you're doing that because you have to do that as far as like when you are thinking about the algorithm and people like looking for results. And if you were making a corporate resume, I'd be like, yes, this is exactly what you want to do. Oversaw the assembly, operated the VIP fan engagement tent. I think that's it. I think that's all you need. After that, you can get rid of that. Trained and supervised production assistants and volunteers, and that's it. That's all you need. So you can definitely shorten this out. Like, you can definitely cut so much stuff out. Okay, production assistant, unannounced projects, covered editorial story, like took verbatim, supported. Like, I feel like when it comes down to production assistant, you can just like everything that's gonna come under it is like you just don't even need, because I feel like a PA is, they're doing everything, right? So I don't know, I would take it out. So production assistant, and then you're moving on to Strange World, CGI animated. Okay, so these are two different projects. Okay, so that doesn't, I definitely would still put production assistant under there, because I know what you're saying, that like you were a PA for both of those things, but it should be clear and you should put it again. Hearst Media Production Group, office manager, production assistant. Office manager and production assistant. Those are two very different positions. Were you promoted? Because if you were promoted, you would put these, that would be two different blocks where it's like you're a production assistant and then you're an office manager, right? You're not both, because I feel like those are two very different jobs. But if you were both those jobs, they need to be kind of listed out two different times. Assist the office level executive, showrunners, staff members. Collaboration with staff members through Google Suite, data entry, act as liaison between various shows, productions, maintain company's production storage, oversaw office upkeep, completed special projects requested by high-level executive staff. So this one's maybe a little confusing to me, because you're saying you're two different positions, and I think that it needs to be blocked out, and we can email about this a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so skills, we have technical. Okay, those are fine. Education. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I definitely want to see some more soft skills. I just, since after you take out all that stuff, your resume will look bare if you follow this format. So you definitely would have to utilize your space this way, because after you take out all these sentences, you're going to have a lot of bare space in the middle. And then I think that maybe if you are going to put your company and location, you can put that on the other side of the page, or then maybe with a certain space on your resume, you can add your soft skills, because I know you have them, that's for sure, like, team, like management, team management, training, you have problem solving, you have obviously organization skills. So you can afford to take out some of this fluff for all the descriptions, and then you can add another block of maybe like interests or something, because it doesn't seem like you have enough experience to fill a page, so you can use some of your other parts of your life and personality to put on this page, so I get a little better picture of who you are. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Okay, let's see. It looks like the standard format, the description is short and to the point. That way it would save space for personal statement or objective. Yes, I want an objective from you, because I don't know what direction you're going. Took away the ad. Second AD's job. What? Oh, right, the call sheet. I was like, wait a minute. My current production line producer who hired me is doing pretty much all the second AD stuff. Yeah, sometimes it happens like that on certain productions, especially if there is no second AD assigned. Like, there'll be a first, and then there's like this people filling in trying to get all the other stuff done that the first doesn't do. And I was a first on AD stuff. I did the first and the second second stuff. So I was like doing all the AD stuff, which to me makes sense because I'm the AD, so I do all the AD things. So Amanda, for Hearst Media, should I think Blue should change to Office PA, because when I read the description, it's 5 bullet points and short descriptions. Let's see. Let me go back to that really quick. Hearst Media? Where is it? Oh my God. Okay. Office PA. Right, because I think maybe... Yeah, I think maybe you're right, Amanda, calling it them an Office PA. It's a lot there. There's a lot going on there. Okay, for It feels like the results are just not needed, right? Exactly. Like he is adding the fluff for a reason. For PA and a resume, should it just be the job, company, and then under it? First, AD and the producer are basically people I report to. Yeah. Right now, I currently have description of some duties. Does that just fill space on the resume if it's for a Set PA position? So when you're a Set PA, you can add some of your, like, if you're a Set PA in the indie world, I understand that you might want to add some description, because then your responsibilities are not going to just be like, okay, you were a first team PA or you're a walkie PA, and your responsibilities are not as defined where you don't need any description. So in the indie world, I definitely would add like a bullet or two, not go crazy and like do like, oh, I assisted the production. Well, that's not a bullet point that you need to put. It's kind of like self-explanatory, right? So keep that in mind when you're adding your Set PA stuff, but you definitely want to add your ADs or your key PA, whoever was your immediate supervisor, and then +2. Okay, so just make sure you're adding the people that you worked under, and he doesn't have any of that. So I would suggest like maybe putting that like, okay, if you were a production coordinator, who was your UPM? What UPM did you work for? Or what producer did you work for? So that is something that is definitely missing off his resume, where you can take some of these descriptions out and then say, UPM, blah, blah, blah. And then your maybe line producer and then producers, depending on what you're working on. And then when you're an office PA, then you would add your production coordinator or your assistant production coordinator. So that definitely is something that is missing off this resume for someone who's trying to get into film. Because we want to see those names, because those are going to be the people that we would call when we see those names of people that we know. Okay, question. So in my case, I would add my first AD, line producer, and director. We don't get a second AD. Yeah, I definitely would add those people for sure. Okay, I'm going to move on to our last resume. Oh my goodness. Doing this for an hour and a half. I love doing these, but man, I get a little tired. Let's see. Okay, Mariana. Okay, now we got... There's a lot going on here, guys. First impressions, please put them in the chat for me. First impressions. Now, this is following my format that I show you guys in my resume, my first resume video that is like from, I don't even know when, years and years ago. A lot of that stands, but what I realized is that they follow the video so closely. It's like they almost pause my video and they look at the format and they build it out. And because I didn't follow a template. So when I get resumes that look exactly like mine, I know where it came from. And I don't mind, because it's like they're using mine as an example, which is fine. But the thing with this one is that it's very neat. The information is there. I know she has experience as a production coordinator. That's dope as fuck. But it gets so formulaic where some people might just like, their eyes might glaze over because it's production coordinator and it's just like a lot of information all at once. And it's nicely organized, but also I want something more to this. And this is a really good level to be at. This is not a bad resume. This is not a bad resume at all. This is definitely what my first AD indie resume looked like. I had like 25 credits as a first AD, short, feature, and all this commercial, whatever, all types of stuff. And it was like first did it. Like, it was just, you knew I had the experience. It is very clear that she has experience as a production coordinator. I don't know if I would put remote. For some reason, I don't know why. Because I think that you can do that job remotely. You don't even need to be on site. So I would take out remote. Okay, I would make your name a little bit bigger. She does have a website there, and she also has a link to her demo reel, which I'm not really sure where the demo reel is coming from, because what happens, she does a bait and switch to me. She has production coordinator, like 30 times. I don't know, was that 30? It looks like 25, 30 times. I have no idea. And then we go to producer, editor, director, producer, camera one, right? So it's like a bait and switch of we're going from logistics to now creative. And she's trying to put it on both things on one resume, which again, you guys know from watching this, you want to make sure you have 2 resumes. So if you are trying to get a job, Mariana, as a production coordinator, you're going to get it just based off this job, like this job resume. Yes, you're going to get it. But you want to make sure you take the demo reel off, because as a production coordinator, if I'm hiring you as a production coordinator, I don't care that you have a demo reel. I'm not going to watch it. It's a waste of space. So you have a website. It's fine. It's nicely put on your resume. It's not making it ugly. It's okay. Would I take it off? I mean, I have a website. I never put it on my resume. I always save links for my signature, for my email, for when I send people my resume, okay? So you can take it off, you can leave it on, but I mean, I usually put the, that in my email signature. So just moving down the line, Mary, okay, so I just want to talk about her name for a little bit. Like, her name could be a little bit bigger, because if she gets rid of the website line and the demo reel line, she gets rid of that and she moves the phone number and email on one line, she can afford that space to make her name a little bit bigger. Your name should be nice and big. This resume is about you. You should be proud of yourself. It's all about you. Make sure your name is nice and big and stylized. Like, I have a certain font that I use for my name. My name is nice and big. I am flashy about my name, not obnoxious, but I make sure I have pride in my name. And then like even on Blue's resume where, he put his, probably not like, I mean, I always use fonts that speak to me and my personality, not like something like crazy scripted where you can't read it, but there's a certain style to it that I really, really like. But if you're going to stick with a certain font where it doesn't really show your personality, which is kind of to his detriment, it's kind of like his name was nice and big, he used the color blue, but if he kind of incorporated that throughout the whole thing and maybe had like, his name is nice and big, is the biggest thing on the page, which is a plus for him, but there's no style to it, I feel like just a little bit more. Just give me a little bit more about your personality and what you like. Because if you don't like your resume, no one else is going to like it. Okay? So name has to be a little bit bigger. Think about incorporating some color here, because I don't use color on mine, but I love when people use it. So if you can figure out some things about your personality or some color that you like, I've seen ladies use purple and pink and green and all different types of colors. And I think that you don't have to use purple and pink, but I tell you what, I do remember the resumes better when they use color. So that is something to consider. So name should be bigger, a little bit more stylized. I like how you have, okay. So there's industry experience and it's underlined with that line going across. That's great to keep things organized. That's okay. But then you have a random spot, you have a space, and then all the way to the right side, you have 2020 to 2022. I would just take that out. Take it out because it just looks randomly weirdly placed and I don't like it. So either you put it all the way to the left or you get rid of it, or you put that 2020 to 2022, that date, on the same line as industry experience. Like put it above the line instead of below the line, and then you can save yourself one line. Okay, and then you have skills and you have that line going all the way across, technology lines going all the way across, education, the same thing. But what you don't do is you don't do it for qualifications, and you're breaking your format. And that is something that is going to be like, why didn't you not do that? So I'm going to question why you didn't do that. You didn't follow your format. So I think you should just make sure that you have that line going all the way across, because that's a consistent format if you left it in there. So I do like how qualifications is all capitalized and it's bolded, and you have your position bolded. That's really, really great. That's what you want to do. So below qualifications, now we're going to get into like nitty gritty of experience. Okay, so if you're going to use experience in those things, it gets repetitive and it almost, like, it doesn't sell you any better, if that makes sense. So experience in producing, coordinating, filming projects, experience in creation of call sheets, giving calls and organizing crew, experience in searching film locations, closing deals for filming days. Like, you can take out experience and you can make this like into something of a paragraph of qualification statement, add a little bit of more of like maybe some of your soft skills in that, like maybe there might be problem solving or logistics, scheduling, or something like that is in there that you can make a little bit more fruitful for this, where you have bulleted, or not bulleted, but you've really lined, everything is coming in a line, right? But if you use your qualification statement or a personal statement or whatever, you can put that into like a couple sentences that breaks your format enough to make my eye go there first, because it's not all these lines, right? So I think you can afford to go all the way across the page with like 2 sentences to tell me about who you are. Like, I'm experienced in producing, coordinating, filming projects, along with creating call sheets, giving, and make sure to inform the crew. And, I have it seems like you have location experience too, but you can put that into a paragraph and maybe you can tell me your goal at the same time, because it seems that your goal is producing, if I'm not mistaken. But you can tell me there, you have the space and you have enough space to play with here. Okay, so I'm going to go down to your production coordinator is super aligned. I love how neat it is. But when I go over to Head Dance Company, Los Angeles, there is a squiggly line all the way down. You need to make sure that you're making this, I think the name of the video should be italicized and in quotes, first of all, because that tells me that it is the name of the video, right? That is the name of the project. Those types of things need to be italicized and in quotes, so I know that is the name of the project. There's no mistaking that, right? So, and I don't even think I mentioned it for all the other resumes because I felt like there were bigger problems. There were bigger fish to fry in those resumes. But now we're down to a resume that is really great and we can improve it, right? So when you have a project name, it should be italicized and in quotes. And then you can make it a little bit smaller to add in this head dance company. But the fact that it's like there's some spacing issues, it throws me off and I don't like it because now it's like, because you have a very, very neat resume and that one couple spacing mistakes makes it stand out even more of like, oh, that's messy. So it's really, I'm nitpicking here, but also that is when I first looked at this resume, that's the first thing I saw was this like squiggly line of head dance company or heat dance company. And I was like, whoa, this is like too much. I don't like it. So just remember, if you're going to try and perfect it, you want to make sure you look at your spacing and your periods and all that stuff and not make that mistake. So you did it again here with your producer and camera one, where your music video at the end is not aligned with music video, short film. I noticed that spacing is off. So you have to make sure you're looking at all those things. So I don't mind that it's there, but if you are going for being a producer, tell me you're trying to be a producer, okay? Okay, so languages, we have a skills section. Spanish, English, French, love it, entrepreneurship, critical thinking, organization, coordination, planning, leadership, teamwork, adaptability, problem solving, love those things. Studies and experience of 5+ years of the music industry. Why is the music industry italicized? I don't know. That threw me, like, what's happening there? I don't know what the thought process there is with the music industry italicized. There's nothing else italicized on this resume but that. I'm very confused. Okay, in areas of management, licensing, music, production, booking. So here's another thing that you're doing in your formatting is you are capitalizing studies, and then you did management, licensing, music production, booking. All those capitalizations are happening on those words, but you didn't do it for the things above it. You didn't do it for critical thinking, organization, coordinating, planning, leadership. Like, you're not following the same format. Like, break the rules. You can break the rules, but as long as you're breaking the rules consistently. Because I do that sometimes with, like, headings or certain things on my resume where I want every skill to start with a capitalized letter. So make sure you're following the same format. And this is what happens when you have a good resume. Like, they will nitpick at the things that are wrong. So you have to, like, really go in hard for, like, making sure that you don't have any mistakes. So technology, this is fine. And then education, this is all fine. So to make this better, to make this stand out a little bit more, I would add, like, your qualification statement, put it in sentence form. You can afford to have 2 sentences that explain your qualifications and your personality a little bit. And possibly add some color and make sure you fix the spacing on this resume. I'm going to go to the chat to see what people think of all this stuff. Okay, so in my case, I am slammed in the face with production coordinator. That is true, but there's no doubting she doesn't have experience with that. So there is that. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. That is a lot, but it's with the same company, Heat Dance Company. It's very phone book. What do you mean, Obi-Wan? Tell me a little bit more. Elaborate. I want to know more about that. Also, the link for the demo reel, I think, should be put in the body of the email. Of course, not in the body of the email. It should go in your signature, not to correct you, Amanda, but definitely in your signature below your name. If that's the case for 2 different positions, have 2 separate resumes. Exactly. Definitely, Amanda. Definitely agree. The blue res was meant to go in animation. You should get some animation production folks on your channel. Yeah, that'd be, oh, really? I think meant to go into animation. You should get some animation production. Yo, tell me more. I want to know all the things. Like, definitely that would be, I actually know an animation editor. I should probably, like, talk to him and get people on my channel. Could Mariana do something like production coordinator as a title, then list the credits below? Yeah, she could probably break it up that way too. She could definitely break it up like that too, to kind of create more of a different format for her resume, so it's not so uniform and so like very, very neat. I was thinking the same thing. It would save half the space, like a section of PSA, then another section of producer credits. Yeah, right? So if she's trying to be a producer, being a production coordinator does help you in the way of trying to gain experience to become a producer, so that can all go on one resume and maybe expand out a little bit of all the other experience here. Like if you did all of that, like maybe talk about those a little bit more. I don't know. I think like take out the dates a little bit, because those are before all of these. Like, I'm not sure the dates are doing you any favors. So it's not hindering you, but also like I don't think they're doing you any favors either. Could also take out the LA unless they put production coordinator, company name, and location in one line, then list the credits. Yes, exactly. It reads like an old style online business phone book. Okay. Yeah, I think it is so uniform that it's almost disturbing, but it is very, very neat. So, and I don't blame people for this resume. The thing is that this is not going to, I'm going to bring my mic closer. This is going to be something that a lot of people submit, so it's not going to be that different from what other people submit in this world, right? Like in the film industry world, or the film industry as a whole. So, and a lot of people do use this format, and it's okay, but also it's just going to be hard to stand out with this type of thing. So I definitely recommend all the things that people are saying as their first impression, and also like add some color. I just need a little bit personality, because right now I don't see the person behind this resume. And that is what you want to do with your resume. You want to make sure that you are presenting yourself, putting yourself on the page, putting your personality on the page, because if they like something about you, that is when you get the interviews, okay? Like, don't be afraid to take a risk and do something drastically different with your resume. I mean, Amanda did the same thing, and she added a little color. It was like, I mean, I can't even remember what your old resume even looked like, Amanda, but like working with color and working with different formats and columns and all different types of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can utilize to look at. Like, obviously we went through all of these resumes. They all have very different styles. Okay, and there are things that they are all doing in their benefit. So if you're like taking from all of these, you can take little bits and create your own thing in your own template. Whew, I think that's it, guys. Almost 2 hours. Oh my God. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions about film resumes? We talked about the strike a little bit. But I think that is it for now. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a sandwich or something because I am starving. It has been really, really great with this film resume. Thank you for everyone who submitted their resume. They were brave enough to put themselves out there and let me tear them apart. So I appreciate you putting yourself out there and just being like, all right, let's see the critiques, look at the feedback, and you were out there, you're brave. So I appreciate you for anyone that submits their resume to do these film resume, because it helps them, but it also helps people who are watching this, and that's what I'm trying to do, to make sure we all just have better resumes, and we're all standing out to the people, and we're connecting with the certain people we should be working for, right? Oh my God. Thanks for another 2 hours of your time, Amber. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, that is it for now. I shall see everyone next time.